What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this. I hope this is going to be really informative for you. I don't have much of a voice right now. I've been not really sick. I just don't have a voice. No, haven't been hollering any games or anything, even though I live in Indiana and I use down to the last championship game. I just don't have much of a voice right now. But look, I want to get on here and explain something that I've been working on for quite some time now. I have been trying to make our pastor's preaching TV where it's a touch screen. It will communicate with ProPresenter, even though it's an audience feed as well, going through our Blackmagic box and all, go into our stage screens, like on the our projector screen, on either side of our stage, and then his preaching TV that's also on stage. And so going through all this research and all I've been doing, I've done a lot of searching online. I've looked at for a lot of other posts that people have done. And the hardest thing I think that I ran into was the way that our TV comes on stage is it's off the side of the stage. It's not plugged in. It has no internet connection to it. There's no Cat 6 cables or anything like that going to it to hardwire the internet. There's really no way of keeping it powered up. And so when it's brought on stage, then it's powered up. But if you were to plug everything up and run through the startup sync and all, the time it would take to start everything, and then he starts preaching, it just didn't work out like for the way our messages and the way our services are set up. So I've done a lot of research on this, try to figure out what would be the best thing for us to do. And I want to share this with everyone because I think this may be valuable for somebody. I know that this is a big topic talked about when I look on the church media pages, because that's where I've looked and I've seen where a couple people have done it. Church of the Highlands has done it. I've been there. I've looked at how they've set theirs up. I use their resources page. It just did not work out for what we did. They leave theirs powered up. It's off stage. They roll it on. They clip the wire in the back. I've seen this work. I've seen how they do it. And it just did not work out for the way that our stage is set up and the way that our sanctuary is designed. It just did not work out. And so I want to take and show you what I've done, a lot of the research and all I did, why I came to the conclusion that I did, and then some of the equipment and all that I've used. I want people to see this. I want it to be valuable. I hope that if someone else is looking, then maybe they take this and they think, okay, I can make that work as well. And I know there's a lot of pastors out there that use a preaching TV. Ours loves it. I think if we took the TV off stage, he wouldn't know what to do. So it's a great thing for him. I know he's excited about this. So I'm going to turn my camera around so you can kind of see where I'm at. So this is our stage. This is our preaching TV up here. I don't have it set completely in place. It's got some mounts it goes into to change the angle of it. But this is where it goes. And ideally, when it's brought on stage, we have a ramp off to the side. It goes down here beside our sanctuary speakers on the other side of it. And then it's just rolled up here on stage, placed here. It gets plugged in here, and that's all you have. So my biggest concern when I went into this is take and have this thing powered up, even if it's not up here. So if it's rolling back and forth. So my number one thing I thought was, okay, well, I can go to a battery backup box and put it on there. Okay, but that's going to be big and bulky. What's it going to look like? There was a lot of things, and then I said, okay, how am I going to send a signal to ProPresenter, because it's not going to receive a signal if this is an audience display. And I want to tell all of you up front, I'm only using just a regular LG 65-inch TV. This is not a touchscreen monitor. This is not a computer that I'm using, anything like that. So this screen, I'll turn around here so you can see it. This screen is nothing more than just a 65-inch TV. There is nothing more to this that I want people to notice. What I have done, and I'll turn my camera on. What I have done is doing some research on this. I have bought a GreenTouch IR overlay. And so all this is it is a simple strip that goes right around the outside edge of this TV here. It goes on with double-sided tape. You can see some of the tape right here just because of the angle of the camera right now. If I were to have it level, you would not see this. But that's all it is. It does not touch the TV. It doesn't affect it. Nothing like that. It is simply just a strip that goes around the outside. And then I want to show you the back of it of what I've done. And some people maybe think, well, that's a lot. Well, yeah, it might be, but it worked. So, I mean, I don't think it's horrible. So this device only runs off a single wire. It's a USB plug, regular USB-A. And then what I did is I've have put in place, we use these around our church for like some small things, maybe like check-in computers. We do American Sign Language on one of our screens, and so we use a computer because it's all done virtually. And so we purchased some of these devices. I think they're like $100. I'll share the description to the link on them. They are great. I've had no issues with them. For using little things like we do, they're perfect. So this is just a small little Windows computer. So, and I have it just double-sided tape Velcroed on here, as you can see. And then I have a wireless keyboard and mouse that I have in our sound booth that's labeled for this. So if I need to make adjustments to it, I can. I didn't want that mounted up here. And then the USB-A that's coming from my GreenTouch IR goes in the back of the computer, the power cable, and an HDMI. The reason why I put an HDMI cable on here was I had a small screen right here that we're not using. It may be 9-inch screen, maybe 9-inch screen. I don't know the exact dimensions of it. It's small. You can tell. It was really just so if I needed to look at this, I could see actively what was on this computer, just at any time. And it didn't take up a lot of space. It's Velcroed on here as well. Didn't really take a lot to do this. When I initially set this up, I actually used the TV as the monitor just to give me enough screen space to be able to set it up, which was super easy. But anyway, so to keep the power when I wasn't on stage going back and forth, I went to a battery backup box. And some people think, well, that's cheesy, whatever. Yeah, it is, but it's going to work. It's a UPS box. And so it's an APC box. If anybody wants to know, these are the numbers on it. And UPS 600. What I saw on this is it's capable of keeping power to a device for 67 minutes. So I only need 5 or 10 minutes. This is more than enough. And it only has, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, looks like 5 or 6 plugs that actually are battery and surge. I didn't need the TV itself to be on the battery. It does have to be battery powered. When it comes up here and they plug it, the box in, then the TV can be turned on. I didn't care about that, but it is still under a surge protection, so that's a good thing as well. So the only thing that's technically on the battery box is the screen to the computer, the SDI to HDMI converter, which actually runs this TV. I don't have to have that powered up, but it's not going to be using any because as long as the SDI cable isn't hooked up when it's not up here, it's not even getting any information. And then the computer itself, which this small computer should be using very small amperage. So, in fact, I think what I saw on it is, and you guys, if you're electricians or whatever, you may know. So, 1 or 12 volts at 3 amps, something. Yeah, so it's not a large pull. It's a small pull. So I don't think I've even put this to nearly what the capacity is to say it'll hold 67 minutes. So that gives you an idea. Now, I will tell you, I hope to come back and probably put some kind of tray on here to mount this to. Right now, I've just used some heavy-duty zip ties. I have it cable tied to the rack for the TV mount itself to the frame. It's working. It's pretty sturdy. I mean, it's not going anywhere. I mean, I'm not worried about it falling off coming on stage. And I've also doubled some of it up. So if anything were to come unattached or break, I've got a backup way of holding it. So, just want to make that clear. So, and I didn't want to put this at the base of it where, if somebody saw it from the stage, or from the sanctuary, I didn't want it to look a certain way. It already has the SDI box here, which isn't it's hard to see yet, but I didn't want to put anything else in addition to it. So the only cables that I have running this, and I'm sorry, it's kind of a mess here for where our guitarist is, but is the actual main power, which is going to this extension cord, which is feeding the battery backup box. That's it. It's just a simple cord, just running down through the tube of the rack. And then an SDI cable, which is how we convert our data coming from ProPresenter to this audience screen. It's just an SDI to HDMI converter, and the HDMI cable comes up and it's in here. So that's how it's getting its signal. So all that this computer is doing is it is taking this GreenTouch IR, it is taking and transmitting that information back to ProPresenter and ProPresenter Remote. Now you cannot download Pro Remote on a Windows device. You can do it on Mac, you can do it on Android, you cannot do it on Windows. So my get around to that was I downloaded Companion. So, and you may have saw this when I was showing the screen a minute ago. So right now I have Bitfocus Companion. I have the emulator running, and I have it all the way to the left side. So I've done full screen, forced it to the left side, so that way I only have one column, 2 buttons, and it's simply just prior slide and next slide. So prior slide is at the top, next slide is at the bottom. So right now, that TV, because that's where it's connected to, this is technically what is on that TV, or that's what it thinks is there. Obviously, I'm sending a different output to it because I'm sending ProPresenter to it, but this is what it thinks is there. So if I go around here, and I have some words to a song up here right now. So if I touch just inside here, you can see it's going to change. If I go to the top, just like I showed on there, it's going to go back. Go forward, go back. So that's how I've done it. And if you want to see, I know my stage lights are going to show through this, but I'll touch it just so you can see we have a multi-tracks stage view in the back. So you can see where it's going forward. I'll go back. Sorry, I'm double tapping it. But anyways, I know that, like I said, I did a lot of research on this. I tried multiple times to figure out, okay, how could I do this? I even ran a USB converter through Cat 6 cable all the way from our media room to the stage, and then converted to USB to this device, trying to use this through Mac. Mac will see it, but it will not use it because it cannot allow the screen to go through the Blackmagic box and be used as a touch device. Now, if this screen was a direct output from the Mac, then yes, it probably would work. That is a possibility. I didn't try that. I can't confirm it. I would say by my testing I've done and the research I've done, it probably would have worked. But the biggest issue is the Blackmagic box. Blackmagic does not receive a signal back in. It is designed to send signals out. So that's a big thing. And a lot of churches, a lot of, presentations and, in buildings and so forth, large conferences and all, a lot of those use Blackmagic boxes for the outputs of their device because you can go to multiple outputs out of one device. Makes sense. Same thing we're doing here. Some people may have monitors that are in their lobby. Some people may have monitors that are in their other rooms. Like we have a cry room. We have a green room for our worship team. We have screens that are in our lobby. We have screens that's in our back of our auditorium that show the audience view as well. So that way the vocalist can see both sides or the pastor can see both sides. So, when you send us so many signals like that, and that's not counting if you have an LED wall that you may have a different item going to. So all that is done through the Blackmagic box. And so Blackmagic will only send out. It will not take and send accept a signal back in. I have gone through that process. I've completely narrowed that down. You don't have to go fact check me on that. I know that's correct. But I will tell you that this works. And I want to say something about the cost of it. This was a big thing too. When I first looked into this, when I went to Church of the Highlands, when I saw what Pastor Chris Hodges uses, which I think is incredible, don't get me wrong, it's wonderful. It works for what they have there. I love it. I love the fact that he can draw on his screen and all. I can't do that with this, not at this point. Now I'm going to continue to research it and probably find a way where I can do it using Companion and maybe adding another button somewhere where I can draw and then clear it. But where I'm at right now, I really just wanted to make it where the pastor can choose to move his own slides, not relying on the person that's using ProPresenter. Sometimes it's hard for them to keep up where their pastor is going. And then if he gets he gets to where he really wants to focus on talking about something and going to the next slide, they're not going to follow along, and you don't want to lose the congregation. And when he keeps telling the person, go with me here, go to the next slide, it kind of stops that momentum that, the pastor may have. So I fully think this is a wonderful idea. I think this is great that pastors are doing this. I support it 100%. I fully love what Chris Hodges does with his. Like I said, for our church here, it just did not work. It did not work with our stage setup. If we were to ever build another auditorium and move to where we have something like that, where it can stay behind the wall of the stage and we can pull it out, yes, I would absolutely go to that 100%. It just did not work for what we have here. So back to the cost. So when I did the research on putting an actual touchscreen TV, computer, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter. That's really what it is. It's really a computer based in it. But when I looked at the cost of that, it could be anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 just for that. That's a lot of money. Not counting any of the hardware, anything like that additionally that it would take to do it. So you could have easily spent somewhere, I'm going to say $3,500 to $5,500 on it. I'm just going to throw that out there. I think that's a fair number for it. Whereas with the setup that I have here, I've done all this for about $800. So, and you may think that's a lot. That is a margin of what the other one is. And let me make this clear. Even if something happened with this GreenTouch IR overlay, I could replace it multiple times before I ever even got to the cost of that. And the TVs now are so inexpensive. This is a smart TV, 65-inch LG. You could probably buy this TV nowadays for $600, $600-$700. There's the cost of stuff like that has gone down tremendously with technology. So where I said I've done this for about $800, $850, it's somewhere in that range. And I can tell you it's no more $900. Make it clear as that. I spent no more than $900 to do this. And if I would have gone probably with a more inexpensive IR overlay, I could have done it for even less. Based on some research I did, this is one that was very well known. There were a lot of high reviews on it. And so based on like my research on it, I felt like this was a good choice for long term, to know that we were going to have something that would last. I didn't want to buy something, no, I was going to replace it 3 months from now. Nobody wants to do that, especially in the tech world. So anyway, so that's where I'm at with it. So I'm really excited about this. Tomorrow is the first day. This is a Saturday. I'm taking this video. Tomorrow is the first day our pastor gets to use it. He has seen this. I actually showed it to him this morning. I can tell you he's excited about it. This has been something that has been in the works here for our church for probably a year now. It kind of fell off and then it came back, and we went to Grow Conference here a few months ago, probably about 5-6 months ago at Church of the Highlands. I went there. I looked at what they had. I came back excited to do it, and then it just came to a dead end. This isn't going to work. And so I've just continually been doing research on this is where I'm at. So I will put in the description all the equipment that I'm using. Like I said, and I think that even if you wanted to do something like this, you could do it for even less than what I did. But before I end the video, I'm going to show you on ProPresenter exactly what I have going on there. It's simply just Pro Remote is turned on. When I configured Companion, through Pro Remote. Pretty straightforward if you ever mess with Companion. If you have questions about it, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I can walk you through the setup of that. Super simple. Companion API is an easy process. So, and it already recognizes ProPresenter API in there. So that makes it easy. But on my ProPresenter computer or Mac, this is all I have. I just have the ProPresenter Remote turned on. I don't even have the network link enabled. It's disabled. And all you will need is just your network, not the network name, the IP address, and this port number. And if you have a password on your ProPresenter Remote, you will need that. The TCP IP, you will not need. So I know I have it enabled, but that is not something you will need. Primarily, all you will need is ProPresenter Remote. I will tell you, too, that I have... sorry. In this process of doing this, I have also, since I've done this, I have even taken and restarted or shut down ProPresenter completely. I've quit it, shut down this computer, and restarted because I had it locking up. It was causing issues. We use Light Key for our lighting options in our sanctuary, and so I was noticing there was a big delay in our lighting. So sometimes this computer gets to acting kind of funny. It's to the point it's needing to be updated. But regardless, so I have restarted this computer. I still went back to the touch screen and turned it immediately. You could switch it. I'd have to go back in there and restart stuff and make things enabled again. It was not like that. ProPresenter Remote was still enabled. That setting is locked in, so I don't do anything on that. So that was super simple. Another thing that I did, and I want to tell you about this as well, is when I set this Windows computer up that's on the back of this TV, one of the things that I did was I locked the screen so that way no other touch can be done on it. So if the pastor touches off to the side, so he plans on putting a couple of little marks on the TV so he knows exactly where it's at. And so that way he knows he's in the field of where it should be, which I think is great. That way he's not trying to touch the actual display. You have to remember this is still connected to a computer. So and it's still accepting touch. So if he touches the screen, then the computer thinks that he's still actively touching the screen. It doesn't realize that he's not on what he's on because I'm using an audience view on a different computer. So I locked it so it cannot do that. I'm also, I've turned off the cursor on it. So in the mouse settings, I've turned the cursor off. That way, or I'm sorry, the mouse pointer, not the cursor, the mouse pointer. So that way it automatically goes away. And then it's on a wireless keyboard and mouse. I've hidden that away so that way it's not even able to be used. So the other thing I've done is if for some reason this computer, let's say there's a power outage or some kind of glitch or whatever, and it goes through and has to restart or start back up. If it starts back up, I have it where it'll automatically start Companion emulator back up immediately. So there shouldn't be any reason for someone to have to come in here, another volunteer or myself or anyone else that may be on the team for our media department to come in here and have to turn around and start this Companion back up and run the emulator again, force it to the side of the page and all the things that we've programmed. They should be able just to let it be and it should start. I have proven that because in the process of rerouting all the cabling, putting the battery back up and all in there, I have, of course, unplugged it, plugged it back in. When I plugged it back in, I started on startup. It all immediately came right back the same way it was. So that's a big thing too when you go to do this. So I probably have, honestly, a few hours of setup time in it. I will tell you that. I have many hours of research and all in it. That's true, yes, but it's done now. But as far as the setup process, it was a few hours. You could probably do it quicker if you're a better person at Companion. I'm not. I'm still learning Companion and how it works and trying to go through that, especially for something like this. So if you're familiar with it, like I said, you could probably do it pretty quick. It took me a few hours. So I hope this video has been super helpful for you. Like I said, I wanted to put this out there because I can't tell you how many times I've researched this. I've seen people's ideas. I've seen a couple of other videos posted on YouTube and on different media pages for churches and so forth, and it just didn't work. And this is what I'm telling you. You can do this. You can make this work for your church. If your pastor uses a preaching TV and he wants to touch the screen and change the slides and not rely on a media person to have to change it for them, then this is an option. I want to tell you one other thing too before I end this video is that this is not about replacing people when it comes to volunteers. Some people think that. They think, well, all you're doing is trying to get rid of me. That is not the case at all. What I am trying to do is make it easier for the transition of things. So there are systems that are in place. We use multi-tracks here at our church through playback. And so playback is going through MIDI controller to our ProPresenter. It talks to it. So when the song starts on playback, it automatically changes lyrics. We don't have to rely on an individual to be there to automatically or manually do our lyrics anymore and go from slide to slide. The system already does it. The same way with this. The system is now going to work where the pastor can change his slides. This is not to do away with getting rid of a person. We still need someone there. It's just to make their life a little bit easier, a little bit less stressful. They don't have to worry about following yes, we want them to follow the pastor's message. I don't want that to be corrupted by my words. But it doesn't rely on them to have to know exactly when he wants to go from point to point to point. He has studied this. He has gone over his message multiple times. He knows exactly what he wants and where he wants to go with it and when it's time to go there. And so I don't want that message to be taken away. So the point of this is how you can do it, how it helps your team. I promise you, my team is going to be excited when they know about this. They knew it's something I've been working on. So, and it's not about me, it's about us. Look, that's the biggest thing when it comes to church media, IT, worship, any part of it. It doesn't matter what part you serve in it. It's all about us. It's not a one part thing. And so, if any of us can do something to help make the other one's life easier when it comes to volunteering, then that's what we should be doing. And that's what my goal was here. So, I don't want to harp on that. Just want to, I know that's something that may come of this. Maybe if someone else may go through that, I don't have that issue here, but I want to make that clear. If someone ever asks, well, all you're doing is trying to get rid of me, and that's not the case. We don't ever want to do that. So I hope this video has been super helpful for you. I hope that you find use in it. If you have questions, if you have comments, if you have recommendations, please comment on this. Please reach out to me and let me know. I'm all ears on this. I'm hoping to learn. That's me. I learn continually. And I hope that I can continue to learn from this, how I can improve it, how I can make it better, how we can work together on this. That's what we're all here for. So God bless you. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you soon.